Howdy, Frosty510 here. Welcome to Endless Dungeon, and I just beat the game, so I wanted to do a quick review. So look, see, congratulations. So it isn't easy. I just rushed through all this sort of stuff, and it did take me. That's an hour and 40 minutes plus. So now nearly 2 hours. So 152 there. I'd say, look, it took probably a little bit longer. Yeah, so 2 hours there just to do the final run. So it got me through, and I think I was pretty comfortable in the final boss. You reloaded? Yeah. So we just go back and we do more runs to get a completion of stuff. So there's lots of different little things to collect as you go through, as you progress. And all your people to talk to, and the different areas you can start from, 3 different areas, and then there's the branches. I'll show you just a quick look at the map so you can have a little. So you have the different areas, and as you go down towards the center, then you finally can finish the run. Having said that, I've only beaten it once. And it took a while because as you progress, you deactivate the active core defenses, which are things that in the core level can make it a lot harder. So stuff like you reduce your damage by 50% and defense by 20% and speed by 20%. And then all your turrets, all your defense things just disappear and all that sort of stuff. So how long did it take me to beat the game? Roughly 20 hours. I think it could have been quicker, it could have been slower. Again, depends on which characters you prefer to play as. They are all different, although they do have a... let's go over here and I'll just go through the characters real quick. Heroes. So they are all different. They all have different abilities. Lots of them start with the same basic assault rifle, but some of them start with a bigger heavy weapon, like a Gatling gun, and then there's a hunting rifle. And you just pick up weapons as you go. Different elemental weapons you get from chests, and you use the elemental weaknesses of enemies against them. So the enemies have certain weaknesses, like these ones to fire, and because they're bugs naturally. And then you go through the various districts. So these are all the different themes. So again, I'm showing you because again, there's no point holding back. It's a roguelike. I always get those confused. So you do progress, you do get perks, and you get upgrades for your characters, and you do quests for them to get more slots so that they can get more little bonuses on, which I haven't got them all unlocked because they can be a little bit annoying at times. And all the weapons here have slots as well, so you can just randomly jump on. Some of these weapons I don't really rate, so it's like this empathize as a slow, big damage, shooting a big laser of electricity, just going like bam, bam. So if your fire rate is up, it's actually worthwhile, but for me, I prefer something like a mob zapper where you're just zapping, a shorter range. And just, yeah, again, there's a lot of different little customization you can do, but having said that, your characters don't... The thing that really helps is getting, your different salvage, getting your upgrades with your salvage, getting your chest to start with, so you can have like a bonus at the start. Gives you an extra turret. You do these upgrades are the most helpful. So getting you 3 players, like getting you start off with just 2 people, so just you and a bot. You can play online, so I will show you. That's one of the things I think they could improve tremendously. But I'm sort of realistic about that. They have skins, but they're irrelevant. I don't know why they try to sell them as like a extra bonus thing. You barely see your character sometimes. They're like the amount of enemies running around overlapping you. It is a fun game. I do like it. I do think that the isometric twin stick shooting works well. I'd say it works well. The aim assist is quite generous. You can adjust it, but it's pretty damn good. So you can just stand there and just hold shoot, and you'll just automatically target most of the enemies. If you're aiming like to the right, most of them to the right, sort of thing. You want to target something that's behind you though, so it's not too crazy. And I want to show you. So. And let's go back to menu, and I'll just talk about multiplayer. But yeah, I had fun. I think Endless Dungeon is a good game. This is on PlayStation 5. No performance issues, so I didn't have any crashes during my runs. I would have... Oh, did I have I think I had one instance where I had a glitch and I couldn't progress, so I exited and then came back in, and it saves you where you're up to. So it is one where you can stop at any time. You don't have to keep playing. It's not like you're in a Hades game and you just feel like, oh, you just gotta keep going. You can just stop and it saves. You can exit, save, and then come back to it. So it is very good in that design aspect. But the issue for me is really co-op. So what it does is it has regions. You pick your area, which they're quite specific, and then you see if you can find games. So I'll just do Australia because I'm in Australia, and it's got 0 open sessions. Now the problem is not so much with ping and things like that. It's when you make a match, so you host it. So I'll just do public, and I'll go 3 players, and I'll do Australia. That's fine. So you create a session for multiplayer, and no one can join if you start a match. So they can only join in the little lobby waiting area. So I'll show you. It'll just be the same as before with the saloon. And basically that means that it's very... I've never found a match. And I don't have any friends playing the game. So it's like I've never played the multiplayer. Because again, you can't start a run unless you have the required players you're looking for. But at the same time, you're not going to wait around for 5 minutes because no one's going to join because you couldn't find any matches. Maybe there's better times of day. Maybe you got to just communicate with people, go on the Reddits and the Discords and things like that. But I'm not going to do that. Too much effort. Socializing. You should just be able to join randoms, and you should be able to join at any time in a run, except for, say, like in the core. I could totally understand that. Maybe just the first ring, like so these first 3 locations. I think would be totally reasonable to have joining there. Again, a choice would be great. But it's just... I think it's a weakness because it's great to have multiplayer in a roguelike. And they did update it so the progress counts on different characters. But having said that, I don't think that's too big of an issue, to be perfectly honest. Once you get to the end, of course. Once you've got everything you really need. It's not that big a deal. Yeah, nothing there. Alright. So let's go back to the saloon. But the general combat, the defense, the tower defense, where you set up turrets, I think that works well. Some boss fights are annoying, and that's really just because you just have to know what to do. You do have to learn a lot of them. They're not too complex, but there's some things that can help a lot. Certain things you do, certain preparation you make, it's really the difference as you get better. It's not so much that you become suddenly a super shot with your gun. That's not a big deal. It's really managing your resources, which you have 3 different kinds. I could jump into a match and just show you quickly. That way, you know, I want to make this review short, but at the same time, I just want to do it justice. There's only one healer in the group, and he's the most important character. So I've only got 2 slots, but having a healer is absolutely a must. And he's only got a couple. He's pretty damn weak. Let's just go in there. You do have a difficulty setting. They did add this. But I can't really see the point. So you get more scraps. Meh. You just do a normal run. Scraps aren't a big deal. You get those. You get your upgrades. I do feel as though it's missing... missing more flexible modifiers. It does have a modifier system where you get different drinks for different challenges. They affect your stats. But I feel as though it could be more specific. Hades offers, you know, more enemy numbers for further runs and things like that. And they got more health and they do more damage. But I do feel like that even misses out on having the negative side of that. So you could have, say, monsters with more health, but there's less monsters. So you could balance it out. And I feel as though the balancing out would have worked better. And yeah, I've talked about that in my review of Hades a while back. But let's just get into some combat. So as you progress, you just open the doors. You find enemy units. Let's hope we get a good gun here, because I hate the rifle I've got. I think it's absolute trash. The magma fire. You can switch character at any time. So you can use all 3. Which is good. But that said, you do want to focus on one. Focus your upgrades on one. And as you progress, you put down, say, like that. I'll just put down a gun. But because I didn't get a chest, I didn't get an extra weapon, which would have really, really helped. But you put down your defenses, you see the circle, you see its radius. It's pretty basic. but it gets complex later as you just feel the demands. So every door you open gives you resources, and you can get more of them if you have a resource generator. On the right hand side, you'll see it's +4, +8, +4. It's +8 now on the logistics because I put the resource generator down. So it's just a bit of mathematics, but mostly being able to defend them is the key. Because there's no point having these resource generators down if you can't defend them. Unless, of course, you have the right timing, which is the management. So managing your resources, managing the crystal bot, which you have to defend. Going, oh, I don't want any of those. They're all terrible. No, that's terrible. That's the merchant. He sells his stuff. We just run around here. Find your enemies. Put down some turrets. They're pretty cheap at this stage. We have an upgrade here we can get. Attack damage, easy. Absolutely easy. And then we can teleport back at any time. Unless, of course, there's a power outage. So we're going to go back here. Keep an eye on the map. Okay. Let's go over here. And then we teleport back. Get to this one. Okay. Back left. It's really all about managing your units. When you have 3, you can just have them hang back. If you have, again, everything's easy with multiplayer, but I haven't played it because I haven't been able to find a match. So it's kind of the limiting part of this review, but... Alright, so we're looking at the map. We've got all our different objectives, things we can do, modifiers we can do, like upgrading our heroes themselves, upgrading the turrets we can do with research, so we can research new turrets, which is really, really important. It's something that you don't feel matters too much early on, and then you find out later on that it's absolutely pivotal. We can recall our buddies. And then we can get a new turret. So there's some pretty cool ones. We can do crit chance. We can do the jellyfire. Jellyfire is really good. Slows enemy movement speed. Very handy. So while you do that, you can multitask. So let's see if we can find an objective we can do. Alright guys, you shoot them, quickly. Keep an eye on the turret. Let's go back. Probably going to lose our resource generators, but that's okay. Again, you want to keep them alive, but at this early stage, the amount of resources required to just keep them defended on their own is a bit too much. What you can do is take your heroes over there and then have them just stay in the room and defend stuff, which is handy. We completed the wave, we didn't lose the generator. Easy. Okay. That's still bugged, where like flashbangs. Some of these bugged. Okay, what have we got here? We got a railgun. And it's endless, which is a ultra rare thing. That's the highest rarity of item. The weapons do have rarity, although for the most part focus more on what the enemy weaknesses are, which you can check. Let me just go like that. Okay, so we've got some green doors open. Nothing there. You do use your teleporting a lot just to manage your position. I say manage a lot, but it is a lot of the game is really just keeping an eye on your resources, making sure you've got enough for certain areas. Might need to get fire rate boost. Okay, so this is where we need to take the robot. So, which I want to do that, but I want to get like, what I would do normally is just try and farm more upgrades, get some more weapons, get something that's good like a flamethrower. They're not bad. The acid one's pretty good. Some of these other ones aren't too bad. You can upgrade. I want to show you a double. So let's see if we can get a 2-star here. No. Out of resources. So you can gamble. So you can try and get 2-star, which is each of the turrets has an upgrade, which is great. And then they go up to a next stage. They go up to stage 4 max. So they do more damage, they have wider range. And you really do feel that. You do feel that the need to have them upgraded. And that's really the part that you'll feel so weak later on if you haven't got the turrets up good. That said, you can focus on the heroes as long as you're getting plenty of health thing, the wheat symbol, the green one, so you can upgrade all your heroes to max. But even then, you still want to have your turrets serviceable. The decoy turret's actually quite useful, but when you ask it to do something, the bot, it'll walk over there, you got to defend it. So this is the hectic. I do have the music off and the character audio off because they don't say anything worthwhile, in my opinion. That's how I play through the game. It hasn't bothered me at all that I don't hear them say their cringe lines. They're a little cringe. It is what it is. It doesn't bother me because I've got them muted. We do have special abilities, which I generally don't use too much. This the healing one is the most important one, but one of them is a robot. The robot one's not too bad. There's one that does turrets, one that puts down mines. So there's a couple of different ways you can, different abilities you can play around with your upgrades, because you can get, say, more turrets with the turret upgrade, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so let's. Alright, so as you retreat, the enemies start piling in. They won't attack the resource generators because, again, they're about to be invalidated, the resource generator. You don't carry them over between sections, so it is important to note that. So you want to get the resource generators up as early as possible. Look at them, they're gone. So that's one little area, and then you go through and you progress. We do have upgrades, which science, industry is good. Industry, that's what we want, logistics, but same thing. And we have slow thing. We don't have much upgrades. It's not a really good start or anything like that. But that said, there's plenty of time to improve. As you progress, you get rarer items. You get more upgrades. You get more detriments as well. There's modifiers to rooms, which can give you certain attributes and things. And there's plenty to think about. It's one of those games where you do learn. The knowledge you learn as you play is really the part that you improve a lot. It's not so much that you increase all of your character's stats incrementally. And I do wish that there was more you could do with that, because you do have your 3 slots, your hero chips, and that's what gives you your bonuses. But I do feel as though I would like more progression. That's one of the things yeah, that's probably one of the things that's let me down a little bit. So let's go back to the, I'll just show you that you can. So you can give up and return, so it just ends the run, or you can save and return, so you can come back to it. So I think that is a really good feature of the game. I'm not sure if you can do it in multiplayer and then pick it up again with the same multiplayer team. I assume so, but I haven't, again, tested it in our multiplayer. All right. So in closing, I do think the different elemental weaknesses and strengths and weaknesses is nice. The play there is good. Some of the weapons, flamethrower things, are interesting to use, and it's nice equipping the bots, your buddies, with decent elemental weapons, and then things that they sort of can use well. Like the rocket launcher is absolutely a must. As one of your teammates who has big gun equipped, getting them in the rocket launcher is huge, especially with knockback upgraded. They just knock everything so far back. It's crazy. Rocket launcher is so good, but you using it yourself is not so fun. So it's just better to have a bot on it. Do I recommend buying the game? It is a cheaper game, $40 Australian, so generally, half-ish the price of a full price game, which I think is quite fair. My gut instinct is that unless they add more to it and they make some adjustments to co-ops, which would just be that you could join people early on in a run or at any time in a run. I feel as though you might need to do that. then yeah, I could just say it's worthwhile. Because again, I haven't played multiplayer because it's just not able to find a match with randoms. It just doesn't feel like it's set up for finding matches with randoms, to be perfectly honest. It feels much more inclined for friend groups, you know, on the Discord and the Reddit and all that sort of stuff. But so I'd wait for a sale, you know, anything like 10, 20% off, I think that's perfectly fine. So, you know, getting it for $35 or $37 or just not even a little bit off, I think it's good. I think I had fun. I've had fun playing the game. I will probably play a couple more runs, but I do feel like there's not much to do after you beat it, which you could say that for some roguelikes fall into this, but I feel like Vampire Survivors is one where it doesn't fall into it. That's why it's special. And Hollow Cure as well on the other side. So it's a weird thing. But I don't know. I feel like the journey was good. So I do think the boss battles being interesting as opposed to just straight up bullet sponge type thing. They actually have different things going on. I think is good. Again, preparation is everything, and then learning what preparation you need to do is good. The learning is good. I think that's where the game, it doesn't force it down your throat what you should actually do to progress properly. It's sort of, it's interesting that it doesn't, but the tutorial is long. It does go through it all. Yeah, I recommend trying it out. I think it's a good game. I think Endless Dungeon is a good game. Would I give it a rating or something? 7.5 out of 10. You know, I'll just say 7. Again, demerits for me is just not being able to find public matchmaking when it's, you know, as a feature. And it feels like the bots at times, you could use more orders for them would be great. I'd love to just have an order for them to follow the crystal bot. Just protect the crystal bot as it goes through rooms. And then I'd be able to run off and engage with enemies and do different objectives. There's some really clever things you can do with, while the crystal bot is moving, you can activate, say, the research objective, the research challenge to get a different turret, and then you can get like an extra turret, and it's easier. Even though it reinforces the wave, it doesn't matter so much because all the enemies are targeting the crystal bot. And the same with resource generators. You can like not put defenses around them and just run the crystal bot to a mining thing where it mines and then take it to the end objective, while the resource generators are just ignored by the enemies for the most part. So you can do some really clever things with saving resources, and that's kind of what you just learn as you play the game. Again, learning. Yeah, so tell me what you think. Do you think were you trying out the game? I've got some boss battle footage and a first impression if you want to see my thoughts and feelings at the start, so you can see how it's sort of developed. But yeah, apart from that, I think it's good. And yeah, could do a lot worse, I think. That said, there's plenty of good games. At this price point, though, I suppose that, you know, there's not many good games. It's more like slightly cheaper. So you're talking your indies, you know, yeah, Heavy Rain 2 and your Dredge and yeah, there's plenty of other interesting sorts of games. Spirit Hunters limited horde thing. Yeah, for more good gaming recommendations and then some classic reviews and things and impressions and all sorts of fun stuff, subscribe to the channel, Frosty Fire 10, and like, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.